Howdy, hello, my name is Doe, hope we're doing good. Today we have a weapon tier list for the hunting grounds, the main form of progression in the game at the moment. It's important to know what's good and what's bad. Mostly objective reporting going on here. And to start the list, let's go with the worst weapon IMO, or the worst weapon according to the stats. We'll go with that. It's going to be the freaking nerf for nothing Austin Yaw Eaters. Even though these weapons haven't been nerfed, they still do nothing for damage. Not really, but still. These weapons are not good hunting grounds for one of the main reasons being they're trash at interrupting. It's just not good. It's honestly garbage. All right? Garbage. If you get into a duel hunt, like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and be like, hey, man, Frank, can you go ahead and interrupt that, please? I'd really appreciate that since you're playing an actual weapon and I'm not. Now, the reason for this, on repeaters, the way you interrupt is mainly going to be through not even something on the weapon. It's something called concussive grenades. A item you have to slot into your character, craft, and carry on yourself in the battlefield of Rams or Shardals. What is that? You have to use a main form of interrupting that isn't even a part of your weapon. And it's a consumable that you run out of. Bruh. Good luck. Now, other than that, they're not that bad, but I don't know, dude. The fact that you have to rely on a consumable to interrupt is not good. Considering supply crates have a finite amount right now, a finite amount. You can't just drop them willy-nilly. So what are you going to do? Wait around, ask some freaking Joe Schmo, hey bro, I really need more concussive grenades. Alright? I'd appreciate that. Anyway, the next weapon on the list is going to be the War Pike. Now the War Pike may seem low on the list, even though it does have a really good modifier called Executioner Spearhead, which makes it get up to 60% more damage in the hunting grounds, basically until you leave. Very good modifier, but the person that designed the weapon, man, me and them do not ride the same bus. They ride the struggle bus, I ride the battle bus. War Pike is not a weapon I think about when I want to go into battle. I'm talking about like plain weapon, like not like the idea of having a giant shaft in your hands as you're battling behemoths. That's different, all right? A little sus in its own right, but it's just the way it works, bro. It's weird. War Pike is strange. It's strange because of the way the special works. When you're doing your damage on the behemoth, you build special meter, and then that increases your damage. When you store the meter for your special, the damage goes away. Who the heck designed that? Why? I can't get behind that. The moveset just isn't for me. This is a very subjective pick, in all honesty. The War Pike is actually pretty good, but I don't know, dude. This freaking, this pool noodle of a weapon, freaking two-handed shake weight, ain't it, chieftain? All right, I'm not about it. If it was cooler, if you could like throw spears, if you could chuck shake weights across the map, maybe. Anyway, moving on to my other part of the list, moving up the list, if you will, we have chain blades. So chain blades at the moment are honestly kind of cracked. They're in a lot of ways broken. And by broken, I mean bugs. So there are some bugs that benefit the chain blades and others that negatively impact the chain blades. I won't be covering those because it makes no sense. But just understand chain blades are very good in hunting grounds. They're evasive, very hard to get hit sometimes, or hard to get hit than with other weapons. Amazing at interrupting behemoths. And they do some pretty good damage. There's really not much else to say about chain blades. They're pretty straightforward. You spam one combo. Light, light, heavy, light. Over and over and over again. Do Reaper's Dance at your special and call it a day. So, those are chain blades. Ever so slightly above the chain blades, you have the sword. Jack of all trades, master of fun. Kind of. It's pretty fun, alright? The sword does a very good job in hunting grounds. It has the ability to carry meter into other fights. Basically starting off a fight with your special in a lot of cases. Carrying pip charges to have abilities you can cast to interrupt behemoths a lot easier, which is a pretty specific example, but it's what you're going to be using a lot. And it just does a really good job of handling dual fights and just fights in general. It's a very quick weapon, so sword has a lot going on for it. It's got mobility, damage, not to mention the fact you can snipe behemoths across the map using your Getsuga Tensho. Next up, we have Hel Strikers, a weapon in its current spot due to its damage, which is pretty high, the ability to stagger behemoths really easily, and having a decent amount of mobility during a fight. It would be higher if it had more damage, or if it had the ability to give its teammates buffs. But Hel Strikers does not have either of those capabilities. Even still though, it is a really good weapon in hunting grounds, and in the game in general. Moving up the list, we're going to have Hammer in the number 2 spot, which this weapon has been strong for I don't know how long, and I still think it's technically the best weapon in the game in terms of damage, or damage overall. The hammer holds a high spot in the tier list due to its raw damage output and the fact it's a blunt weapon, meaning it does more stagger damage, making it so behemoths go night-night a lot quicker than if you're using other weapons. This weapon does take a bit of skill to use, and even if you're not great using the hammer, what you do have is a buff called Mighty Landbreaker. This gives your teammates a buff of up to 35% damage per teammate. Now keep in mind, there's up to 6 other people, or 6 total people in a hunting grounds, including yourself. It's got really good interrupts, good at staggering, and high damage, as well as a team buff mechanic. It's hard not to give it a really high placing in a tier list. This just in, credible sources fact-checked this information, and it turns out it's mildly false because there was no mention of dual fights and how the hammer handles these dual fights. The answer? Terribly. It blows in dual fights. I was playing yesterday with Brevy Rad in dual fights with a hammer, fighting 2 Stormclaws at a time, and I was like, I'm not having fun. Why'd I even log in today? So, because of that, I really want to put the hammer below Chain Blades in the tier list. That's what I want to do. The last and strongest weapon on the list is going to be the axe, a weapon that is beyond insanely kitted in hunting grounds. The fact that the hunts just never end, it's more of a slay until you cannot play anymore type of style of a hunt, means the axe will just dominate in this mode. Mostly because of the way the weapon works. You have stacks determination, you can build those stacks up to do more damage, and if you have a modifier called Overcharged Cylinder, you can make it to where you're getting 75% extra damage indefinitely if you're playing the axe correctly. So because of that, you're just doing insane damage the entire time. The axe is a great weapon overall, and the fact that you want to use Iceborne in hunting grounds to begin with, which is a big suggestion right there. Make sure you're using Iceborne. You don't have to, but it's ideal to use it. On the axe, you can actually resolve attacks, making it to where every part of the kit for the axe, barring some combos that are worthless for the most part, is going to be used. These factors alone are why the axe holds the crown for best weapon in hunting grounds, objectively, in my opinion. And to further polish the crown the axe wears, the weapon is good at interrupting, although it does take a decent amount of skill and practice to get proficient at it. And lastly, it's really good at getting kill confirms on the minions in the hunting events. You can basically one-tap these minions. Each time you do that, you get 5 XP per minion. That XP adds up pretty fast. So the weapon overall is the best IMO. Now, that will conclude the tier list. Hopefully it checks out in some way or fashion. Some weapons aren't that far apart from each other, but I do think that axe is the best, and I do think that repeaters are the worst. For Sherman. And other than that, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more gaming content like this. That's what I do here. If you want to support the channel, make sure to use credit code OhDough at the Epic Games Store or in the in-game Dauntless store. Helps me out a freaking ton. And other than that, y'all, I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.